Last but not least, we have the journalist Mr. Tomofumi Yamamoto to offer the remark. And as is indicated in the speaker biography day 1, he was diagnosed as having MCI or mild cognitive impairment this year. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tomofumi Yamamoto. This is Shukan Asahi, in which I am a reporter. Last year, in December, I was diagnosed as having MCI or mild cognitive impairment, which required an early intervention, early treatment. I'm a patient myself. So this time I was contacted by the event organizer to make presentation as a patient of MCI. I thought that it would be too high an honor for me. However, I thought that I hoped that it would be of some help to you. That was why I decided to stand on the podium. I looked very young when I was young, but I'm already 62 years old, though I do not look like that. At the age of 60, I retired from the organization, and I'm now a part-time reporter or a contracted worker. And first I remembered that I'm very much forgetful, and I thought that it was due to my age. But I was a reporter, so I had to interview people, and during the interview I take notes. However, I couldn't think of any Chinese characters to take notes, so I was not able to take notes, and I go visit my interviewees, but I did the double booking more than once, several times. And that was why I thought that would jeopardize my career. And something must be wrong with me. And I was afraid that I would be breaking down. So I was very much concerned. That was why I visited Professor Asada Takashi of Tsukuba University, and I visited his memory clinic, and Dr. Asada did the clinical testing, including a cognitive test as well as MRI for the brain imaging. And then I was told that I had suspected MCI, and that was a big shock for me, and I was very much distressed. But the doctor said that without the pharmacotherapy, the exercise could suppress the progression of the symptoms. That was why I still keep working as a part-time reporter, and I go to the memory clinic of Tsukuba University, the daycare center, once a week. And that was my experience, and it was the first experience for me. I draw the pictures, and I also use the instruments to play music together. That was music therapy, and also the real task and the cognition game and the cooking in order to train the memory. So all these different programs were aimed at stimulating the brain in order to slow down the progression of the dysfunctional brain. But at the initiation of the training, I saw many elderly persons, and they were ahead of me, and I burned myself during cooking, and I stepped on the female's feet while dancing. So I was very much embarrassed. But I met my fellow patients, and they encouraged me. It's okay, take it easy. Because you failed, that's exactly why you're here in this training session. So if you keep on training, there would be the path that would be opened for you for improvement. That was why I'm still going to the sessions. However, the improvement tempo is very gradual. It doesn't improve all of a sudden, but I feel that I can feel that I'm gradually being improved. Probably persons like myself. There are many, and there are many people who are afraid of becoming dementic. That was why I decided to speak up. And I decided to write my experience in the articles in the magazine. The title is I Will No Way Go Dementic. That's the title of my articles, the series of articles. Through these experiences, I thought of the importance of exchanges with my fellow patients. As I have mentioned, we train together. And these are my fellow patients, and they encouraged me, and I encouraged them. And I got a great deal of courage from them. But of course, they are dementic patients, and they do not want others to know that they have the dementic conditions. But I overcome that hurdle. I'm open. I'm out of the closet, and that is why I'm trying to crawl out of this condition of MCI. That is why I declare myself I'm the patient, and I write a series of articles. But as a patient group member, I have my fellow patients, dementic patients, and they tell me various things. But when I tell them that I'm a reporter, I'm writing articles in a magazine, and then they stop talking to me. They are reluctant to talk about their stories to me. However, as time goes by and many years, I go with them. And then they began to confide, and they began talking about their personal stories. So are the patients' families. And I thought that because of this sort of the exchange, we encourage each other, and that's the most important way of having improvements. And through my experience, I saw that firsthand. To understand correctly the dementia, and that's the most important thing for the society to achieve. And I learned that firsthand as a patient. 10 months have passed since I began this early intervention, early treatment. In dementia, if you intervene early enough and begin treatment early enough, we can stop the progression of the disease. And this is also what I learned firsthand as a patient. Without doing anything, in several years' time, the disease would progress and become the full-blown AD or Alzheimer's disease or full-blown dementia. That's what I heard. So I was lucky because I had the early diagnosis for early intervention. The SOS from the brain can be perceived by the patient themselves. They are the first ones to notice something is wrong with them. So if you suspect something's not right, go to the specialist for examination. We're waiting for the disease-modifying therapies. However, these do not exist now yet. That is why I'm going through the various rehabilitations and the trainings so that I can have my conditions stop progressing. So I have great hope for the research and the development to come. Thank you very much for letting me take this podium today. Thank you, Mr. Yamamoto, for the precious story.